zone, and I am committed to be here. And indeed, here I am. And there's a pendulum cleansing in the window. It seems a little messy. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so I'm planning to do numerology today. And why wouldn't I? I'm also, if you're watching the video, I'm getting ready at the moment for a wonderful weekend project where I get to share some of my expertise and some of my knowledge and connect with a whole lot of you, which is really rather exciting. It's called, for reasons I cannot comprehend, it's called the Queens of Isolation. And if you would like me to, I can send you a link, an invitation that will get you right in without having to fill out any forms or whatever. I don't quite understand how it's all organized. Anyway, they have told me to invite people, so here I am, asking for permission to invite you. You can tell me yes in the comments. You can drop me a message. You can do whatever it takes. It's all good. I would love to have people I know at this thing tomorrow. I'm going to be on introductory session at 9:00 in the morning, and then I'll be back at 11:30 and 3:30 and 5:30, and late at night at 11:30, which I think you may find that is a scheduled text post. Just saying. And then on Sunday, I will be back at 9 and at 1 and at 5. There's a lot of prize giving. There's a draw at the end of it all with a big prize from all the different vendors. And there are ways that you can get ballots, coming and commenting, coming and referring one of your friends. And if you place an order, which with me, if you book a session, or indeed place an order with one of the other vendors, you get, I think, 5 ballots to go in for the final thing. Anyway, it's all really rather fascinating. It's completely new to me. I'm very excited about it. So tomorrow, that's Saturday the 9th and Sunday the 10th, that we're going to be on Facebook. A lot of live, a lot of video, a lot of really, really neat stuff. So that's exciting, and I absolutely do want to invite you to come and join us. And what else? I have figured out that this is my 7th Friday that I committed to do the Fridays during the lock-in, and we're at 7 with no particular sign of that ending as yet. That's all right, because I'm having a blast. It's also my 16th live session, because I've been doing 2 a week, and I moved them around. I did a couple extra ones on weekends and things. So hopefully, although I did have to change software just this week, hopefully I'm getting to where it begins to make some sense and is easy to follow and easy to find and easy to be involved with. I'm wearing red today because here in Canada, it is a day of, I don't know how they're calling it. It's a day for honoring the missing and murdered Indigenous women across our country. It's an enormous problem that we have. There is a beautiful, not quite a ritual, but there's a way they're being honored and remembered, with people hanging red dresses, empty red dresses, in forests and in gardens and in public spaces, in parks, on buildings, outside businesses, all sorts of things like that, to to remind us that the women who should be wearing those dresses are not around. And they have asked for everyone, native and non-native, to wear red today. So that's what I am doing. And new software. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm still alone. So if you're here, please make a comment because I'm reasonably sure it will show up. And I will maybe start. I had said today I'm doing numerology. So the number grid, which is an awesome thing. You don't need 20 of them. This is you can see maybe the way that the numbers go in with a one, at 1, 2, 3, they grow up as the way things grow up from the ground. And when I take your birth date, I drop the digits into the squares where they match, and have a look at the lines that emerge. Have a look at the duplications. So much to learn from the day that we chose to come into the human experience. There really is. Bringing the vibrations, the frequencies, and the energy that we needed to fulfill our destination, our destinies, and our intentions. I guess destination works in there too. All right. So I've been digging out files and getting ready for the weekend. I've got some interesting stuff around. I'm going to, may I? There must be a way for me to share this if I navigate away from the screen. No, I don't want to do that. Go over here. Okay. What is my address? Okay. Okay. Let me add a picture to that. Maybe when I come back, there'll be somebody there. If you're there now, I apologize profusely for not being present to see you. Okay. All right. I'm posting. Whoops, no, not there. Posting on my news feed. Coming back here. Hello. Hello. So many things going on. All right. Mother's Day this weekend, and I hope that everybody is as ready as they're going to be for sharing that in appropriate ways. My cousins have been posting some really nice pictures and memories of my mother's mother, who I never knew. That's been really rather nice. I love that I have cousins who used to be unknown to me, sharing that kind of stuff. It is really nice. All right. So, in the absence of any interaction, if you're here, please say something. I'm still very unsure about this. This cross post to more pages. What does that mean? Oh, that is not helpful. Not even slightly. Close. The number cycle. Can we talk about the number cycle? I found some notes recently going through some files, and I found this picture, which is actually a picture of a big giant poster that I had for some other thing. Distilling down the really basic energy for each of the numbers in the cycle from 1 to 9. Depending on the part of the chart that we're looking at, there are different aspects of all of them, but this is a nice kind of, yeah, distillation is the word. If you make it as simple as you possibly can. So where there's a 1, there's an energy of being. That central identity is often where it goes to when we're talking about birth dates, which we have been doing. Oh, hello. How good to see you. I am thrilled. Have I done your dates, Laurie? Were you here the last time we were doing dates? If not, I will absolutely do yours, and I can come back to this anytime. I can, I know, because I'm in charge. So cool. I did so many on Tuesday. I have no idea whether you were one of them, Laurie. I'm sorry. If you would like me to do your birth date, let me know what it is. If you are, for whatever reason, shy to include the year, I can do something mildly different with where you're at for this year, if you wish. Or indeed, if we've done it, I don't know if we've done it. I don't think you were here. If we've done that, we can. You can let me know about the first vowel in your name as it's written on your birth name. I know some people end up with names in a different order. They use a different part of their name. So if Laurie is not what's your really truly first name, in which case I will talk about the O happily, because O is a lovely number. It's lovely whether it's the first one or not. But if it is your first one, then it has particular power. Your first vowel is called your kernel number, which is kind of cool. It's that sense of it being the absolute seed of who you're here to be. Okay. I'm not getting your messages. Maybe there's a delay. There's new software that Facebook has graced me with, and I'm still learning and still struggling. And that's kind of how it goes. You're going to be quiet. I'll maybe go back to my picture and talk about how the number two, all about relationships of all of the different kinds, not just about romantic couples, but every relationship, your relationship with your bus driver, your relationship with the guy next door, all of that. Different parts of a chart, it shows up in different ways for sure. In the calendar this year, where we're 2020, everything is about relationships. 0 is about all that is. It's similar to the 9, not identical, but very similar. I think the idea that we are adjusting and changing relationships in a very universal way is a bit of an understatement for what's going on right now. They of course add up to a 4. When we add up the digits of 2020, and if ever we were building a new foundation for a future, then certainly that's this year. So 3, I've got it as creating. I often talk about it as inspiration as well. This is when the universe channels through us and brings new energy into the physical world is shown by the 3. The 4 is building, setting down a base, doing something very solid and reliable, and oh, hi Pam, what? Good to have you here. I'm just sitting here talking to myself. So I'm doing some numerology, Pam. If you would like to give me your date of birth, I will look at that, and we'll see where we go from there. We seem to have lost Laurie. I don't know where she's gone. It's good to see you, wherever you may be. I don't know where you are in the world, Pam. Are you nearby to me, or are you far away? I'm in Ottawa, in Canada. I have no clue where you might be, but I recognize your name. I know that you've been before for card readings and things, which is very cool. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. All right. I'm not liking. Okay, so this is the 26th of October. I like that. So we have an 8 and a 1 and a 5. 2 7's 14, yes. So your overarching birth call it the birth force, 2 and 6 and 1 and 0, 1 and 9 and 6 and 7. Very cool. I like that. When we add them all up until there's only one left, we get a 5, which is the number of change and growth and growing. Change, growth, adaptation, adjustment, all of those things that go on. The one of the great things about that is that people with 5s are people who are seeking out new adventures, go boldly going where no one has gone before. And the downside of that, and it may be striking you if you're in isolation, get restless very easily, because there's a need for the change and the adaptation. You're not comfortable with same all the time, same. So that's an interesting aspect. Okay, welcome from Virginia. That's so cool. So cool. All right, so when we slot your numbers into the grid, we can't write, evidently. Okay, 2 and 6, 1 and 1, and 0 and 9. Okay, so I don't know why I put that there, and putting another line only makes it bigger. You have a very interesting October problem. Not a problem, but the reality that the one, which is the sense of identity, which is the seat of your very being and your personality. You have 2, which suggests that, and it goes with the 5 extremely well, suggests that you, as a young person, as a child, you learned to adapt to the conditions around you. So if the adults in your life had different expectations of you, you depending who you were with, you became what they needed. So if one of them wanted you sitting in the corner reading a book, then when you were with them, you sat in the corner and read a book. And if another one wanted you to be a active participant in dancing around the kitchen, then when you were with them, you danced around the kitchen, and that's absolutely fine and lovely, and you got to learn to read and to dance. What happens is when you're in your 20s, mid-20s, you start to question who you really are. Are you the dancer? Are you the reader? Are you someone who should be dancing on a book? Are you, and what else have you missed out on? So there comes a quest for I'm glad that makes sense. There comes a quest for figuring out who you really are at your core. And that is a wonderful driver for you to become something of an explorer. And your 5 birth force really fits in very well with this, because you're willing to go out and look at new things and see. Hey, Pooja. See different things, see places to travel and things to do and things to be, and you're willing to take on board new things that you weren't exposed to when you were either dancing or reading. So that it helps you to develop your entire and make yourself much more rounded than if you stayed simply reflecting back to your childhood adults what they wanted. You really shift into a being on your own quest and your own journey, and that's really nice. The 2 6s, 6 in this grid is very often about service. Certainly it's a place where we find beauty and we find comfort, and we find a sense of duty as well, taking responsibility for things, knowing that you want to make the world a better place than you found it. And having 2 of them, you can get kind of not obsessed. It's not as much as obsessed, but preoccupied with wanting to be better and do better and to have a big impact. So that's worth paying attention to, because serving your own path certainly is going to happen as you serve your community. We're here to contribute to our communities, but being obsessed about the result instead of living in the now and enjoying the journey is something that the 2 6s might pull you towards. So some mindful consciousness, some introspection to see what it is that's driving you. And then the 9 and the 7 are the 2 spiritual numbers. So you're absolutely capable of working with spirit and doing whatever it is that spirit can work through you. I compare this with having 2 arms. You have to make a choice about becoming a weightlifter, and having made that choice, you then have to learn and train and practice and do whatever. You have got the arms for doing spiritual work. Whether you choose to do that and develop it is entirely within your choices. But with the 7 and the 9, you're probably having precognitive dreams and good hunches, good intuition, all that kind of thing. Because spirit is there, ready to work through you, and that's a really cool thing. Okay, so Vinay Raj. I'm going to read for Vinay Raj, and I've got the 28th of October, 1969. All right. So this is, oh, lovely energy. Okay, very spiritual, very 2 and 8 and 1 and 0, 1 and 9 and 6 and 9. Okay, so Vinay has a line diagonally down 357 where it's blank. And that is the line that is called the line of skepticism. So Vinay is not someone who necessarily easily believes in this kind of stuff. Okay, Pam, good. I'm glad. Vinay absolutely has never read a book and said, oh, this is it, the seat of all wisdom. I will just do what the book says and never think about anything else again. Vinay wants evidence. Vinay wants repeated results, wants confirmation from multiple sources, wants to see how something works in their own life before adopting any kind of a belief. Cobbling together a set of a worldview, an understanding of how things work. It needs to come from actual evidence in Vinay's life. Okay, I'm not going to take anybody else's ideas on trust, and that includes mine, I'm sure. Okay, the 2 1s. If you're watching the video, you've heard me talk about this sort of pleasing the adults around you when you're little, and you don't really get a choice because they've got the roof and the food, so you do what you need to do. And it's a wonderful skill later in life that you can be what other people want. You can read what their desires are. You can ace a job interview because you can tell what it is that they're looking for, and you can be that. Unfortunately, life is not just about landing the job. Life is about developing yourself. So as you get into your 20s, as you get older, you begin to go like, what, who, which one is me, and why am I only reflecting other people and not my own identity? And at that point, then you start with some spiritual questing and some hopefully some of the reading that will help you move into understanding and honoring that unique personality that is you. The 2 gives you good relational skills. Having only 1 2 with those 2 1s suggests that you won't slide too far into any kind of people pleasing, but you will be nice with people. You're not going to run away if somebody says boo. 8 is a wonderful number of balance and symmetry and fairness. So you have a really good sense of right and wrong. And that kind of ties in with your 6, which is a number for service, for duty, responsibility. Your worldview is when it's set, when you've gone through the process of doubting everything, when you've worked this line of skepticism and come to a place of accepting some sort of image and some way of being in the world, then it's going to be based in fairness and in civil rights and in universal justice and all of those things, because you can see that every one of us, every individual has the light of the divine within them and is entitled to all the things that everyone else is entitled to. So then your total is a 9, and you've got 3 digits in this top corner, because the 0 from October goes in there as well. That's a lot to have the 3 in this corner. Like the children of the 1990s, they got lots of them too. Because 9 is the number of holistic energy, of the connections between things, interconnections, it educates about the importance of one and the impact that one person can have on all things. If I choose to buy the shoes that are only $1.50, then I have to acknowledge that I'm contributing to the existence of exploitative factories that are underpaying people, that are maybe employing children. My choice there has an impact on something that's really important, even if I can't see it. So that 9 is a very necessary and wonderful part of the human experience, that understanding of our impact and that acknowledgement of the ripples that flow out from our own actions and activities. What happens with a whole lot of them is that we get intimidated by how powerful we are, and we worry that if we do something, it's going to have a negative effect that we can't even imagine or predict, or we can imagine it. We make it up and decide it's going to be just dreadful. So then we don't do. We sit in the corner and avoid the action. And I think maybe, Pooja, that's part of your question that you're asking there. There's a real shying away from any kind of conflict there's an unwillingness to engage even in progressive activity if Vinay believes that somebody else is going to get hurt. So until the work with the ones is done and there's a real understanding of self and self-motivation and the amazingness and wonder that is the self, until that work has been done, then there's going to be a lot of self-censoring. There's going to be a lot of avoiding progressive movement. And I don't know if that's going to answer your question. This, in 2020, they're in a 6 year. So they are possibly struggling with, they're certainly working with taking responsibility and fulfilling their duty. So depending on 69, what does that mean? You're 51 this year? Not yet, you're just 50. So maybe at 50 you've done a whole lot of work and you're doing great and you're able to take on the changes and understand the repercussions and do them anyway. Maybe it's still a struggle, and if it's a struggle, then the responsibility you need to take right now is to do the work, so that next year is going to be the teacher. You're in a 7 year next year in 2021, and that is very often there are difficult lessons that need to be learned. Always there is teaching, and if you're in a position to be able to sit back and look and say, oh, look, like people are having to this year, you know, my job has evaporated, my life, the shape of my life has changed enormously, and yet here I am at home and I am learning to be whatever I'm going to be. I'm learning to grow my own celery in the back garden. I'm learning to do all these wonderful things. There is teaching. How that teaching lands in our lives has a lot to do with our attitudes about it, and that has to do with how much work we've done to understand ourselves. So Vinay, depending on where they are on the path of self-development, that's going to impact what happens here. He's emotionally attached to someone, which is not a bad thing. We're all here to experience the contrast of emotions and physical experiences. If this year in a 6, there's a pull on that attachment, if he's attached to 2 people, then figuring out whether duty and responsibility are going to outweigh finding the beauty of a true and deep love. That's all going to depend on how much work has been done already in terms of their self-image, their self-understanding, their willingness to stand up for their own path, whether or not they've been programmed. A lot of people in a lot of cultures have been given a whole lot of, you know, there's only this way, you can't go anywhere else. So no matter how torn, how much they want to go off over there, they're living in a situation with family, with people, with a village, with a city that will not tolerate that change. So learning to understand your own responses, to see how willing you are to take those risks and do those things that others are not going to support. This is all a part of Vinay's human experience and why they're here in the physical right now, learning this stuff, becoming more fully Vinay in a way that is entirely up to them to direct. So I hope that helps you, Pooja. Okay. Anybody else here? This, I have new Facebook has changed it again. I think they've changed it even since Tuesday. And I'm not seeing any eyeballs of any kind anywhere. And I'm pretty sure that I know there have been people here, and I never did see an eyeball icon. So I don't know what that's about. So while we're still running, I'm going to bring this back up. We were at building. We were talking about 2021 and how we're building a new base on which. Oh, okay. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you. You stay safe too. I'm so delighted that you were here, and I'm glad that answered something for you. Wendy, how good to see you. Wow. This is exciting. I'm doing birth dates. Tell me your birth date. So cool. I don't understand what Facebook has done with my software. They changed it. I changed with them eventually. And now they've changed it even since Tuesday. It's really good to see you. I hope you're healthy and well and staying the blazes home. I do. So let me know, what is your birth date? I'm sure have I been to a birthday event for you? No, but at least on Facebook, I have seen birthday events. I have not the first clue what date it would have been. Absolutely none. Beyond there being a 1 and a 9 in the year, I know nothing. Nothing. So, okay. Possibly even, okay, there we go. So, I do know that. Oh, good Lord. Of course I do, because it's the day before somebody else that I know well. Okay, 1906 and 7. So these add up to 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're all fair and balanced and lovely, aren't you? That sounds exactly true. Okay, so 2 and 8 and 1 and 9, 6. Nice. You've got a line. I don't see this line very often. I don't know if it's just that people who have the line don't get their numerology done, or if essentially just a rare breed. Okay, so the line you have, this 789 line, it's called the line of enthusiasm, which is a lovely line, because you are a leader of people. You get excited about things and share them and get other people excited, and we get to have experiences that we didn't know we wanted until you told us. So it's a really lovely energy that you put into the world. Really nice, really positive, making the world a better place as you go by. Having the 9 and the 7, they're the two spiritual numbers. So I don't know how much you work with your intuition, how much you pay attention to any of the hunches and dreams and things. I think there's probably depths to you that I don't know about, because I don't necessarily see all of everything about you. The 8 is a mental number. 7 and 9 are spiritual. The 8 is a mental number. So quite possibly you have been trained to, and you've got the 1, which is the other mental number. You might be thinking your way out of intuition. You might be, okay, I'm not sure which that a lot was, maybe about the intuition, so that's good. The 8 and the 8 birth force together give you a lovely a lovely balance and a lovely symmetry and a lovely flow. The when we lie it down, the 8 is the lemniscate, the symbol for infinity in mathematics, and represents that never-ending flow. So the never-ending flow connecting the two pieces of the spiritual part of the chart, having those all together suggests that you are very much and can be a hollow reed through which brilliant things can travel from the universe and into the physical world, using you as the conduit, which is really nice, really, really nice. The other thing about the 8 in the birth force that's really reinforced by having it as an individual flavor is the ability to mediate, the ability to be really fair, to make decisions based in the important facts, knowing which facts matter, being able to weigh that balance, and then to choose among the facts to find the truth, the wisdom, the solution, without giving in to anything like, well, this person is my better friend, so I'll decide in their favor. You wouldn't do that. You're just really, really fair, and that is a very nice energy to bring. So yeah, the 7-8-9 line, the 1 and the 2, you're very balanced between your sense of yourself and your willingness to cooperate with other people. You're not a people pleaser. I think I knew that. Your 6 is that good sense of responsibility and duty and the ability to find beauty. That 6 has a lot of aspects, and it sometimes shows up in a kind of a domestic energy. So the making your home space, wherever that is, making that into what you find beautiful, is supported by the 6, and that's just part of you taking responsibility for your own journey, and certainly not expecting anybody else to paint the walls pink so that you can be happy. If you want a pink wall, you're gonna get a pink wall. Simple as that. So that's really, really nice. For the universal, the calendar is in a 4-year right now. So you're in a 7-year, which is the teacher 7. That's it can be very difficult if there are lessons that you're resisting. I think, from what I know, I don't know that you're resisting anything anymore. You're being fairly accepting, and you'll still learn the lessons. They just won't be agonizing because you're not willing to resist and agonize about them. It will be what it will be. All we have is now. All we can do is our best. I think for other people who are in 7 years, different stages of life, it can be awful. A 7-year can be so full of difficult people, and no doubt there are people out there who, by the law of averages, at least a 9th of them are in a 7th year, losing jobs, losing the routine as we have known it, and or working in essential services in ways that have nothing to do with what we were expecting 3 months ago. So some hard lessons, always made better when we don't resist them. So that is okay. I saw the comment line jump and nobody's there. Yeah, so you're going to come into 2021 very differently than you came into 2020. A lot of learning, a lot of progress, a lot of expansion of understanding and comprehension. And I think it doesn't have to be hard for you. I think that you are you're stable and steady and balanced and symmetrical, and all of that 8 energy is with you enough to you're gonna weather it just fine, because you know you cannot change other people. You can only master your own responses and reactions to what's going on. So that's I think you're in a good place. I do. And you're in a good place. If you've got to be living through this lockdown, lock in, lock up, being in Wakefield, Quebec is one of the better places to do it. Okay. So as I'm working my way through this, so that's 6, that's serving your destiny, serving yourself, serving your path, and serving your community, of course, depending on where it is in the chart. We're always serving something. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad. Good. You are aligned. You're in alignment, Wendy. When you yes, if that's where you're at. I'm delighted. I'm so glad. It's your numbers. Okay. 7 is learning. I've just talked about that, so I don't need to go back to there. 8 is about connecting, which of course the fairness and the flow is about connecting the seen with the unseen in a lot of ways, and bringing cosmic positive energy into situations that are calling for it. And then 9, where everything is unified. I talked about the 9 when I was talking about Vinay, about how individual decisions can have an impact far, far away, because it's all one. There is only one. There is connection between everything, between me and you, and me and the people who make my shoes, between me and people I will never ever know, because butterfly effect, right? We're all having impacts on all of everybody else. So staying mindful about that is an important and good thing. All right. Who else is still here? I've still got no little eyeballs. I'm very confused. Let me know in the comments if you're here. Let me know your birth date, and I will drop it into the grid. And if you haven't watched the beginning of the video, this weekend I'm part of a strange and wonderful, very new to me, Facebook event that is called the Queens of Isolation. And I am supposed to be inviting people. There's some special deal where personal invitations or sending out links to people that I know is a thing. I don't know if that means she isn't advertising publicly or what it is. Anyway, if you would like a invitation to be a part of that, we're going to be a lot of Facebook Live, a lot of video, a lot of exciting stuff, and prizes and games and giveaways and things all over Saturday and Sunday. So, and you don't have to be at all of it, but I would love, more than anything, I would love for people I know to be there, so that I've got something to hang myself, well, maybe not hang myself, that sounds bad, hang my conversations onto. So let me know that you would like an invitation. You can message me, or you can tell me in the comments, and I will most certainly do that. Also, what else? I am wearing red for Friday, in case anybody's not listening to the beginning of the video. Not because it's Friday, but because it's this Friday, because we are honoring and drawing attention to the missing and murdered Indigenous women of Canada, and as well as red dresses being displayed in many places all across the country to remind us of the women who should be wearing them. We are also, native and non-native, wearing red today. So that explains this color, which is not one that I often wear, I have to confess. All right. What else? My 50/50 special is on next Tuesday. I am going to be 50 years. Hey, Kathy, thank you. Cool. Yes, I will absolutely send you an invitation. Happy to do that. I think you were here on Tuesday. I just did your numbers, yes? Is your first name, Kathy, is the first vowel in your name an A? Because if it is, I will read you some exciting something, maybe perhaps. Oh, yeah, that's nice, if that's it. But I was going to say some people get Marie first. You would still have an A. Yes, whatever is your first vowel, I will. And Wendy, if you want me to do that for you too, we've still got 10 minutes. We're doing great. What was I talking about? I've lost myself. Oh, my 50/50, 50 years since I came to Canada on Tuesday, May the 12th, which is very exciting. So I have put a special on my website on the readings tab. For this month only, I'm doing 50 minutes for $50, which is quite a discount and really kind of cool. And I'm actually booking into the week of the 18th now, because I've got a whole lot going on, which is very cool, very exciting. I thank everyone, and I so much love connecting people to this stuff. It really pleases me. Alrighty, Wendy, have you gone? Still no eyeballs. Where would I look? Where like there's no logic to how this new setup is. They've moved the comments from the right to the left. They've moved a lot of things. Don't know what to do. All right. So, and maybe you've all fallen out, and that's why you're not talking to me. You've because I know Facebook kicks people out too. That happens. All right. Okay, there's nothing there. There's nothing here. Okay, full name is Catherine, but I think I knew that. I think I did know that. You see, I don't have an eyeball, Wendy. I don't have an eyeball anywhere. Not top left, not. I do have a little red dot, or a fairly big red dot. So maybe it just tells me that there are people here. So strange. Okay, so Kathy, who was named Catherine. So when an A is your first vowel, because that's the first sound that people make, and there's a whole lot to be said about the sounds, the creation is a sound, right? The Big Bang in science talk, the let there be in the Old Testament. In Hindu teachings, they say that the elephant trumpeted the universe into existence. So the first sound of your name, when people are calling you, the sound that comes out, that ah, is really, really important to who you are and how you are. So this is writing by Julia Line, who is a brilliant numerologist. And she says that the A represents the head. So intelligence. I don't know if you were one of the ones. Was that your little sister had that line? Anyway, determination, enterprise, and courage. When the A is the first vowel in a name, it it points to a great interest in life in general and a very independent nature. When another A also appears in the name, which goodness knows it does, Catherine Bailey Anderson, when another A also, there is level-headedness and a capacity to think problems over. But more A's can tip the balance into selfishness and self-centeredness. A negative A can be a very critical person who is skeptical about everything and sneers at the efforts of others. I don't think you're like that. Yeah, you may be right, Wendy. That is recording. So that is you are a leader and a thinker and you certainly have lots of A's going on. And I don't know enough about your history. Maybe as a young woman, you were more on the negative side. Certainly, I know when I look back at my life, who I was at 20 is not who I am at 60. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I have grown far and I have grown better, much, much better than I used to be. I do believe that as far as being determined, enterprising, and courageous, I think that sounds a lot like what I see of you, which isn't a lot, and we really do need to Zoom or something. Okay, yeah. So level-headed. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Wendy, is the E your first? Is it always, is it your first vowel on all of your everythings? Yeah, I've got no eyeballs. I'm really annoyed. Don't know what to think about that. This feed is slow. Woo. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Something unstuck the bar, but we're still with no further. Yes. Okay. All right. Wendy. Maybe Wendy's gone. Well, it's 2 minutes to. I'm going to, oh, there you are. Yup, the E is yours. Okay, I'm going to read it regardless. All right, particularly strong letter representing communication, says Julia Line. Amusing, independent, skillful, intellectual, imaginative, and instinctive. That is also true about you. When E is the first vowel in a name, it points to an exciting and eventful life. A negative E can be irresponsible, unreliable, unstable. I don't think that's true. Yes, I think that's what I get from you, Kathy, for sure. That you're a positive person. That is good. My first one is an O. Oh. A negative O should learn to control their emotions. You see, that's what I wasn't doing as a young person. Can be obstinate, monotonous, and yeah. The as I say, who I was at 20 is also, when I was 20, it was the 1970s. It was a different planet. So okay. All right. So you do have an A going on, Wendy, but the E is your legitimately your first vowel. So that makes sense. All right. Oh, good. All right, Wendy, am I inviting you to this thing tomorrow and Sunday? Of course I am. I if only because I think you won't report me for sending an uninvited invitation. You need to invite someone to invite you. I'm not sure. Okay. My hour is up. I will stay here for a little while. If anybody's got any more questions or comments or anything that they want to follow up on, because that's how I am. And otherwise, I'm going to be back on, what's today? Today's Friday. Yes, I will be back next Friday at 2 because I have promised. I will also be back on Tuesday at 11 my time. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing. In fact, I'm going to let this weekend event just show me where the most interest is. I'm kind of itching to get back into my cards. No, and I don't expect you to commit. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you came. I am. And I'm glad you got an eyeball to look at, because I certainly didn't. All right. So, Kathy, maybe you're still here, maybe you're not. I can't tell. I do know that you're lovely and that I really, really appreciate you. And the posts you've been making about Mum's mum right before Mother's Day has been really, really nice. I like that. Thank you. And I guess that's it. I'm going to log off. So thank you everyone who's here. Thank you everyone who's watching the video replay. Really appreciate you staying with it all through that. And Tuesday, 11 o'clock Eastern, I'll be here again. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great week.